Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the May 21st, 2025 Diversion Authority Finance Committee meeting. Before we start, I believe that Mr. Commissioner Grinberg and Mayor Carlson may be online. And I'd also like to welcome Jake Gus today. He's taking the place of Rick Steen. He's up catching fish in Canada someplace. So with that, we call the meeting to order. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Here.
Mayor Mahoney.
Here.
Mayor Carlson. Mr. Gust.
Here.
Ms. Thompson.
Here.
Ms. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Redlinger.
Here.
Mr. Grimberg. Mr. Pepcorn.
Here.
Mr. Capitan. Mr. Reitz.
Here.
And Ms. Madruga.
Here.
Quorum is present.
Thank you, Don. Next order of business is to approve the minutes of April 23rd, 2025. They have been distributed and are on page 3.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Pepcorn. Is there a second? Is there a second? Second by Brandy. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 3 is to approve the order of agenda. Again, it has been distributed and in your packets.
So moved.
I have a motion from Brandy. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Mr. Redlinger seconds. It's been moved and seconded to approve the order of the agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4 is the approval of the bills. We call on Susan Thompson, Finance Director for the City of Fargo. It's on page 5 of the packet.
Right, the bills that are being presented, there are 7 total. They are through May 14th, $2,136,851. Largest is the Water Resource District, and that is primarily some purchase settlements.
Are there any questions? Again, this is an actionable item.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Commissioner Pipcorn. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Redlinger seconds. It's been moved and seconded to approve the bills presented by Susan Thompson for $2,136,581. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Here, yes.
Mahoney.
Yes.
Mr. Gust.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Reitz.
Yes.
And Ms. Madruga.
Yes.
And that is everyone.
Thank you, Don. Item number 5 is the finance report. Again, we call on Susan Thompson. It's on page 18 of the packet.
Page 18 is the revenues, expenditures, and other historic and year-to-date. And then page 19 is the statement of net position. So grand total assets, $338 million, almost $339 million. We have total liabilities of $767,000. So the net position, grand total, $338,232,087.
Thank you. Any questions, Ms. Thompson? This is an actionable item. A motion, please.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Redlinger. We have a motion to approve. Is there a second? Is there
Second.
a second? Brandy seconds. Been moved and seconded to approve the finance report as presented. Excuse me. Yes. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 6 is the cash budget report. We call on Mr. Paul Barthol. It's on page 44 of your packet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board, of the committee. Before you is the cash budget. And again, this is typically presented by Mr. Jason Benson, the executive director, but he is in Washington, D.C., so I'm trying to fill his big shoes. So With that being said, with our annual revenue status, if you notice in the first two last month, if you recall, those were blank. We did receive the sales tax was incorporated into the revenues for this month. Also, we did receive $22 million from in legacy fund draws this past month. So as you can see there, we have received almost just over 42 million in legacy draws, which leaves us about $45 million left in those funds to continue to draw throughout the remainder of this year. But once we get to that 87 million mark, that will expire or remove all the funds from that source of funding. So other than that, there wasn't a whole lot to highlight there. Level one, not a whole lot new to highlight in that either. We did have a couple $1 million in land closings that you saw in last month's bills, and just some third-party mitigation, which is utilities and other work that's ongoing in preparations that way. So to date, we're actually well behind our anticipated spend rate, since we've only expended $42.8 million out of an expected $425 million budget. So do anticipate to see some additional costs, especially milestone payments to the developer by the end of the year, but those just have not come in yet. So any questions?
Questions for Paul?
The last, let me just touch on the administrative budget too. There we're also doing authority operations budget. We're also doing very well, tracking below and on our cost to date. Part of that is we've had a reduction in staff over the last couple of months, so we're trending below the line there too. But I believe, I don't want to steal his thunder, but I believe Executive Director Benson will have an announcement for the board tomorrow regarding one of those positions. So that's all I have for my report.
Any questions? Thank you. Item number 7 is MOU, Memorandums of Understanding and Agreements. I'm going to call on Mr. Shockley. It's on page 51 of the attachments through 84.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the Finance Committee. I have a number of items today. None of them are significantly large in dollar value, but we need the recommendation from the Finance Committee to move them forward to the Diversion Authority Board. The first item is the approval of a temporary construction easement between the Hayden family and the authority. It allows our authority to access the property, access the property for constructing some Raymond Township mobility improvements. This is a pretty standard agreement, uses our current form of a easement. So happy to answer any questions on that, or I can move to the next one.
Any questions on the first item? Please continue.
The second item is a new agreement. It's essentially the same agreement as we had before with the contractors, but it's just updating for any changes of law and changes of performance. The contractors of the authority that are demolishing various structures within the UMA sometimes need access to stockpile materials to fill in excavations from foundations and other parts of the property in which they've excavated soil. So this allows for them to access that soil. And part of that is that they will hold the authority harmless. So if one of their employees is out on the site and that gets hurt, that they're not going to turn around and sue the authority or the Cass County Joint Water Resource District. Having them have access to the stockpile helps reduce the overall cost of the demolition, because they don't have to buy the stockpile or fill material and bring it on site. So,
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Any questions on item number 2? Please continue.
The third item we have is a water user agreement. This is the project is definitely moving forward. This is a water user agreement between the authority and Cass Rural Water Users District for the authority administrative building that is being constructed on the dry side of the southern embankment. This is for the building that is being constructed pursuant to the project agreement with RRVA that will eventually house the authority staff for the operation of the project. And this is a water service agreement. The property is within the service territory of Cass Rural Water, and so Cass Rural Water will be providing water to the location. Currently, the location will have sewer improvements that are consisting of a drain field and a septic tank or something similar to that, because Fargo utilities haven't reached that far yet. Just for those of you who aren't familiar with Fargo, portions of southern Fargo are actually served by Cass Rural Water rather than the city of Fargo's system because of their territorial rights for water service. Happy to answer any questions, but we made a few modifications to their standard agreement because it's an agreement with a political subdivision for water service.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Questions on item number 3 there? Please continue.
And my final item, as the board members will recall, every month this last year, I've been updating the board on the progress of the formation of the dispute review boards after the Attorney General's opinion was issued and the board members had submitted their resignation. I can report that we now have a fully formed technical dispute review board. We have 3 panelists. And those panelists then will need to enter into an agreement, a 3-party agreement between the panelists, the developer, and the authority. The form of the agreement was actually approved by the board previously in the project agreement, but just for transparency, we wanted to make sure that everybody knew that we're approving this agreement with the technical dispute review board members. It'll be on tomorrow's agenda along with my report regarding the progress that we're making on that. There may be a few minor changes for if each of the members has to select an entity that would be for service purposes. But what we'll be asking the board for is just to approve with any in the substance presented and any changes deemed necessary by the executive director. But those would be pretty limited changes, just to technical revisions.
Thank you, Mr. Shockley. Any questions on item 4? All right. This is an actionable item. We can do them one at a time or all 4 at the same time.
I'll make the motion to approve all 4, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Pipkin. I have a motion to approve 7A, 7B, 7C, and 7D. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second. Been moved and seconded to approve the MOUs and agreements, items 7A, B, C, and D. Is there any discussion? Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney. Mr. Gust.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
yes,
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Reitz.
Yes.
And Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you. Do you have one additional thing?
Yeah, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to give the board a quick update on 2 financial matters. The first is the WIFIA loan draws. We're currently having internal staff meetings with the PMC. There's a process that every time you make a WIFIA loan draw that has some pretty significant requirements, as you would expect with the federal loan program. And so we're essentially doing an internal dry run, but what's required for all of those submissions. And that'll likely include probably one person from Fargo City staff and then some people from the PMC, just so everybody's on the same page as we put together that sizable submission. And then the second update is that as part of the overall finance plan, there is a small tranche of bonds that we would be issuing at the end of the project in 2027 to wrap up any of the additional costs And they would consist of two bonds. One would be a definitive refunding improvement bond, and one would be a subordinated sales tax bond. The amounts are still subject to where we end up with final project expenses, but due to the size and complexity of it, we've started just working on that process because it's already May of 2025 and it's not that far away. So,
Thank you. Any questions on the WIFIA draw or the bonding that will take place in 2027 when the project is completed? All right.
thank you.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 8, DA Board Approval Contracting Actions and Budget Amendments. It's on page 94 of the packet. We call on Chris Backergaard, engineer for the diversion.
Thank you, Chair Dardis, members of the Finance Committee. We have 3 contracting actions for your consideration today. I'll run through all 3 and then you guys can decide if you have questions or how you want to process the approvals or processing. First is a task order amendment for one of our utility relocation projects with Cass County Electric. This is work along County Road 81. It'll actually reroute through the southern embankment in our SE3 alignment and also supply power to the Red River structure as well. Total cost of that is $223,612.85. That work will be conducted by Cass County Electric as underneath our MRA and task order under that. The second item is a new services or updated services agreement with C3 Media. Again, just a reminder, we do their contract annually, so this is an annual renewal of theirs for the following year from July 1st through June 30th of 26. Again, very similar scope of work that we've had in the past, similar cost as we've had in the past, and this will provide our videography services and communication support and data collection on like all of our videos and photos throughout the calendar year as we give updates and supply information to the global project from a media standpoint for the next calendar year. The last one is our first cemetery project that we're bidding. We received bids from 3 contractors for the Eagle Cemetery, which is down by the city of Christine on the North Dakota side. Again, our engineer's estimate on this was around $300,000. Our bids ranged from the low bid, as you see from industrial builders, of $227,690 up to just our high bid was $370,000. And we had one that came in right at our engineer's estimate at $300,000. So good range of bids, good contractors, intending to get this project started around the middle of June. We have a preliminary piece of this. The Eagle Cemetery themselves is hiring Dakota Monument to actually move the headstones, where actually this project will place fill around a portion of the cemetery to raise the elevation above the project pool impacts. The cemetery is hiring Dakota Monument to remove the headstones following Memorial Day weekend here, and then the contractor is set to start in the middle of June. So with that, I'll stand for any questions you might have related to these 3 contracting actions.
Questions for Mr. Backergaard? All right. Thank you. This is an actionable item.
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chair, to approve all 3.
Commissioner Pitcorn moves to approve items 8A, B, and C. Is there a second?
Second.
A second by Susan. Is there any discussion? All right. Don, would you please call the roll?
Mayor Dardis.
Yes.
Mayor Mahoney. Mr. Gust. Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Ms. Johnson.
yes,
Mr. Redlinger.
Yes.
Mr. Pepcorn.
Aye.
Mr. Reitz.
Yes.
And Ms. Madriga.
Yes.
That is everyone.
Thank you. The motion passes. Next order of business is other business. Does any member of the Finance Committee have anything they'd like to bring forward at this time? All right. Our next meeting is going to be June 25th, 2025. If there's no other business, we stand adjourned. Thank you.